Bonjour mes amis de hockey. I'm just kidding, I'll spare you my terrible French. What's going on, hockey friends? We're back, and today we're talking about the Montreal Canadiens, a team that has massively impressed me this postseason, and they're fresh after a sweep of the Winnipeg Jets, and now find themselves in the conference final for the first time since 2014. Not a lot of people gave them a chance to make it past Toronto, and when they did, most experts seemed certain they would lose to the Jets. But here we are, a sweep of the Jets and a 7-game win streak in the playoffs later. We find Montreal in the conference finals, and a lot of experts are cooking up a fine roast crow for dinner. Now I could spend this whole video calling out Toronto media and how clearly biased they are. I can bust some myths about how the Habs have supposedly had an easy run against the North Division opponents, and how they wouldn't have won either series if the Jets and Leafs would have been fully fit. But hey, guess what? If my grandma had wheels, she would have been a bike. The playoffs are all about these ifs and buts, and the Habs took their chances, took what was given to them, and are now halfway to the Stanley Cup. The thing with Montreal is that, with all due respect, they don't have that one superstar player on their team like their opponents have. Sure, you have Carey Price, an absolute stud in net, and he's turned the clock back a few years, and he's been incredible in these playoffs, but when I say they're missing that one star, I'm talking about a skater, and they don't have that. What they do have though is a team. Yeah, I'm sounding like Pierre Doran here, but the entire team is the star, from Philip Danault to Joel Armia to Arturi Lehkonen to Jeff Petrie. Every guy on this team is chipping in and playing to the best of their ability. And it's obviously paying off. When you look at the stats for round 2, the Habs dominated, and I mean dominated, the Jets. They're shutting them down, shutting them out, containing them, and just stifling their offense. It's quite remarkable to see, and in game 4 it looked like the Jets didn't want to win. And that was a theme in round 1 against the Leafs as well. I don't know if the Habs have some black magic that completely takes away the will to win from their opponents, but whatever they're doing, it's working. So I talked about how the Habs don't have that one superstar, but they're well on their way to getting that in Nick Suzuki. Oh boy, I love this guy, what a player he is. He's clocking the second most ice time for forwards on the Habs. He creates chances, he finishes his chances, he sets up plays, he hits. He's just incredible, and his partnership with another rising star, Cole Caulfield, has been a joy to watch. And oh man, do I have time for Cole Caulfield as well. I mean, this partnership is going to be something special, and you could see how much he's meant to the Habs in terms of his speed and the energy he brings. And I love this blend of young stars like Suzuki, Caulfield and Kotkaniemi with the old veterans like Corey Perry, Eric Stahl and Shea Weber. I'd like to go back to game 5 in round 1 against the Leafs. With their backs against the wall, they had a 3-0 lead and they blew it, but they regroup, they win in overtime, and they don't look back from there. They haven't trailed for almost 440 minutes of hockey. That's more than 7 hours, and it's the second longest streak all time in the playoffs. I mean, that's just incredible. Juggernaut winners like Tampa, Pittsburgh, Chicago and LA haven't even mustered that. It's a remarkable stat. But I want to be negative for a bit. Not against the Habs, not against their fans, but against their greatest enemy, Toronto media. So, Toronto media, well, where do we start? We can start with this prediction. Going into the first round, where no one on Sportsnet gave the Habs a chance to win. Craig Bunnett from TSN didn't even think the Habs would win one game. But hey, you can be wrong sometimes. The Leafs look much better going into the playoffs, so this is funny, but it's not embarrassing. What's embarrassing is when people who were wrong are so adamant on the Jets destroying the Habs. And yeah, I know he's a clown and obviously biased, but we have Sid Seixeiro on TV ranting and screaming and saying the Jets were winning in 5. Greg Wisniewski is on Twitter ranting. The entire cast of TSN and Sportsnet are out here hyping the Leafs and saying the Canadiens wouldn't have a chance. It really feels like all of Toronto media is doing everything in their power to discredit the Habs from what they've actually done. All these guys practically had the Leafs winning in 3 games because they were apparently so much better, and when that didn't work out, they all jumped on the Jets bandwagon. Surely they were going to take the Canadiens to town. No! And I don't know why, but they refused to give Montreal the credit they deserve. Did they have an amazing regular season? No, but they made the playoffs, and once you're in, that's what matters. Everything changes in the playoffs, and the Habs adapted, turned up, and showed how the team should play hockey. It's been so funny watching these so-called experts straight up discrediting the Habs, and this tweet is especially funny to me. He's clearly being sarcastic, so he's saying it isn't impressive the Habs beat the Leafs because they didn't have Tavares. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Leafs take a 3-1 series lead without Tavares? Yeah, and then the Habs decided enough was enough and adapted and were able to beat the Leafs. And Mark Scheifele was suspended because of his own stupidity. It's okay guys, you can credit the Canadiens without hurting your ego. Look, I'm not a Habs fan, so for me it's incredibly funny watching how these guys refuse to give them credit. And I'll be honest, I didn't give the Canadiens much of a chance to get past the Leafs in the first round. I think I had them going out in 6 games, but they're proving me wrong and impressing me at the same time. And I'll take that L, if you want to call it an L. Alright, enough of the negativity. Let's look forward, because the Habs are in the semi-finals. But before we do that, I'd just like to give a shout out to whoever operates the CN Tower in Toronto. Lighting it up in Habs colors was a class piece of trolling, and I'm all here for it. But alright, let's look forward. So as I'm making this video, we don't know who of Vegas and Colorado the Habs will be playing, so I can't really make a prediction, and even if I made one, I'd be wrong. But what I can say is that regardless of who they're playing, they're the underdogs. Both Vegas and Colorado are better in my opinion. Their star players are better on paper, but I mean, the Canadiens have taught us not to look past them, so I think it's completely open. If Carey Price keeps playing like he is, the Habs have a very good chance here. Suzuki is the real deal, Caulfield, who is yet to score, could explode, and the Habs just play an amazing team game, so I really think it's anyone's game here. But whatever happens, if the Canadiens go out, they proved us wrong regardless. People didn't give them a chance against the Leafs, it was almost the same story against the Jets, and here they are, 4 games away from a Stanley Cup final. It's been great to watch, and I hope they continue, partly because it's hilarious to see the media lose their mind, and also it's great to see a team winning and proving everyone wrong. So, what do you guys think? Are you as sick and tired of the media as I am? And have the Habs proved you wrong? Talk to me in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Also, I'd like to quickly thank each and every one of you for the support lately. The channel has grown quite a bit since I came back, and it's really motivating. Thank you all for the support, and I hope I can keep producing good content for you guys. So yeah, thanks.